Hi, welcome to Module 1 of the Master Your Reproductive and Fertility Health at Work course. You're either a board member, senior leader, manager, or ambitious professional who has grasped the opportunity to ensure you take full advantage of reproductive and fertility health at work. In Module 1, we're going to discuss why reproductive and fertility health at work is a business strategic priority. Number 2, we're also going to discuss why reproductive and fertility health at work challenges impact employee performance, employee retention, as well as diversity, equity, and inclusion. Thirdly, we're going to give you the implementable secret sauce strategies that mean any existing reproductive and fertility health at work policies you have or any that you will newly form through this course will be implementable. So we'll give you the implementation strategies that will make a tangible difference to your full employee contingent. Fourthly, we'll also take you through established business cases of companies that have been implementing reproductive and fertility health at work strategies as what we'll talk to you through in this course. So these case studies allow you to get a firm grasp of what their successes have been and also how this success can be replicated in your environment, either for your full company, for your department, or for yourself as an individual. So let's dive straight into the course. Lesson 3, Module 1, Understanding the case for reproductive and fertility health at work. Lesson 3 will explore compliance, legal and ethical considerations pertaining to reproductive and fertility health at work. The regulatory landscape in the United Kingdom, relevant legal and regulatory enforcements include the Equality Act 2010. Within the Equality Act 2010, this covers employees from being able to, gives them protection from being able to be discriminated against for pregnancy and maternity discrimination, as well as sex discrimination. Worked examples where there has been legal action that has resulted in employees getting compensation from employers where there were relevant cases in reproductive and fertility health include, number 1, the case between Miss F. Hines and Mighty Limited. This was a landmark case in which Miss F. Hines was awarded £350,000 from a tribunal based on that she had gone through an experience of pregnancy discrimination at work. This included that Miss F. Hines was excluded from meetings. It included that she was unfairly criticised over the performance of her work. It also included that when she requested reasonable adjustments to be made for her pregnancy, her employer at the time, Mighty Limited, were not accommodative of this. The tribunal, upon hearing of the circumstances, put forward that Mighty Limited were actually liable for constructive dismissal as well as discrimination. And they had to pay her £350,000. I'd like you to think through what other examples are you aware of whereby there has been cases brought into a legal environment that are all around an employer's failure to adequately support an employee's reproductive and fertility health journey. Another case study that we'll look at on this is one that was around the event medical group. The event medical group versus Leslie Coyer. In this example, a compensation of over £6,000 was awarded to Leslie Coyer based on the fact that she had experienced discrimination in the form of her manager asking her inappropriate questions in regards to the status of her pregnancy. The event medical group attempted to defend this by saying they were just asking about the status of her pregnancy. However, the judgment and the ruling in this case was that the nature of the questioning was inappropriate. And so this led to a £6,000 compensation. What we start to see here with these two cases and any others that have been brought to mind when you think about negative cases to do with reproductive and fertility health at work outcomes is that there is an onus on employers to protect their employees and to provide a suitable environment based on their employees' reproductive and fertility health profile. As we continue in Lesson 3 of Module 1, we are exploring the regulations that pertain to reproductive and fertility health at work, which are the grounds upon which, if as an employer, you're not providing adequate reproductive and fertility health at work support for your employees, you might find yourself in a sticky legal battle, which ends you up in paying a lot of compensation, as we saw earlier in the Mighty case. These additional regulations include the Employment Rights Act 1996, which is all about an individual's statutory rights to maternal leave, paternal leave, or shared parental leave. Shared parental leave would give same-sex couples an equivalent right to maternal or paternal leave. Additionally, we also see that there is the Health and Safety at Work Act 1974. This is all about the ability for an employee to request for reasonable adjustments based on their reproductive and fertility health at work needs within this particular context. What does this mean? If, for example, you're going through IVF and you need to do injections, hormonal injections, you can request this officially so that you're able to take the requisite breaks to do so. You may also put in specific requests for a room or other facilitation for these self-administered injections within the environment of your employment. Other regulation, which is pertinent to reproductive and fertility health at work, is the Flexible Working Regulations 2014. And this is all about allowing employees to be able to request for flexible working arrangements based on their health condition. For instance, this can mean that if I've got extreme prostate pain as a male or male identifying individual, if I've got extreme pelvic pain, heavy periods, or endometriosis as a female identifying individual, I can, within the law, request flexible working arrangements. Because this is legal regulation, it is enforceable and particularly important and advantageous for you, board member, executive, and senior manager, to ensure that your peers and your workplace is aware that if an individual indeed makes these requests, there is legal regulation, which means that they must be listened to officially, and also the response you give must adequately cover what they're requesting, since they do have a legal basis for making these requests. All right then, why don't we have a think, either individually or in our groups, what sort of reproductive or fertility health at work adjustments have you known your colleagues to need? Did they request for them? If so, what was the outcome? In my particular case, I recently worked for an insurer where one of my team members did have extreme pain in her pregnancy, particularly earlier on in her pregnancy. However, due to a lack of awareness of her rights, she did not request additional working from home time, and it heavily impacted her well-being, not being able to request additional apportionment to work from home compared to the 2 days working from home that were mandated by that employer. This negatively impacted her. Well done for making it all the way through Module 1, the case for reproductive and fertility health at work. Now you would have learned why reproductive and fertility health at work is a business priority. You will also have established that reproductive and fertility health at work challenges are relevant to the workplace in terms of workplace productivity, in terms of employee retention, and also for your diversity, equity, and inclusion objectives. We've taken you through each of these components, as well as shown you the practical, ready to implement strategies that mean that you will be able to see tangible difference in the workplace experience of your employees when you have completed this course. In addition to that, we've also shown you case studies of multiple men and women who have been positively impacted by taking part in this course through implementing reproductive health at work outcomes in their own workplaces. What I'd like you to do now is to make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe on the We Are Eden channels. You'll find us on LinkedIn, so follow the page there. Put on a comment about how you found your experience of the course. I'd also like you to tag a friend who you think might be able to benefit from taking part in the course. We'll see you soon in Module 2, where we start to take you through how to create relevant, future-proof documentation and associated protocols to get this version of the Reproductive and Fertility Health at Work guide going in your workplace, which will totally revolutionize the current approach to this and help you establish yourself as the leader for this work